foot into the Lower Yough. It's very friendly. There's a stick gauge right here. We can see the level. Today it's 2.65. So it's going to be a tiny bit higher than yesterday, so there'll be a subtle difference in the rapids if you can even see it. We're coming up on Entrance Rapid, and Entrance is actually a really easy rapid, but it's also a place where a lot of people get tripped up. So we're going to go through kind of some of the read and run stuff on it. Entrance begins with a couple of very easy surf waves. They're in a row, and people like to tend to eddy out. So you can see Justine is about to catch the surf wave, and then she might eddy out after. Nice and easy, very easy surf wave, and then peel back. And she is in the eddy. So I'm gonna eddy out over here by this other surf wave with this whole group here. Some cross currents. What's up? So there's a lot of different options in Entrance Rapid. I tend to like to sneak the holes, but doing so actually makes the lines a little more complicated because I'm zigzagging a lot more. You can also just punch everything, which is easier and might be the simplest way through. But as you can observe, I'll show you some of these holes that I'm dodging. So we could go left and it would be nice and easy, just punch those holes. Go right where Justine is and kind of skirt the tops, scoot through the tops. Now we're gonna go a little left and get past this one hole. Again, it's nice and easy to avoid these holes, but some of them are pretty big. So these I'm gonna kind of find my optimal crossing spot and punch as little as I can. A lot of eddies to catch, as Justine is demonstrating now. A lot of holes you can easily zigzag around. Or through, depending on your immediate preference. Okay, so this isn't necessarily the easiest line, but it's fun. I want to get on the left side of those big rocks, so I'm going to do a shoot. And that's it. That's the gnar of Entrance Rapid. From there on out, it's easy. Lots of eddies. Okay, so we're leading into Cucumber Rapid now. Cucumber is a short rapid, but it's pretty frothy. So you want to just kind of go straight through it. There are a couple of rocks. So what we're going to do is Justine says we're going to eddy out. I don't see where we're going to eddy out. So she just kind of slows down. Left, right down the middle. They need to throw a brace in here, but that right down the middle line was nice and easy. This is Piddly, just a single feature rapid. There's one drop that is either on the left or right of this big boulder. Justine just did the boop, which is really easy. We're just going to kind of read and run, sneak down the middle. So I'm going to look for where the froth pile is the smallest. I'm going to go there. And that's it. That's Piddly. That again?
Camel walrus. And the correct line is you go from the middle, diagonally towards the right, and there's like a big rock, and as you hit the rock, you go left.
Okay, so this one's, it looks a little sketchy from above, but not really that bad. There's kind of a little bit of froth. It's easier than it looks. I like to go a little further to the right up at the top. Right down the top here. To the right of the rock. Go left. Stay on the current, stay in the way of train. That's it, that's Camel Walrus. What's called a pool drop river, in that every rapid is followed by a pool, just a bit of flat water. So if you're overwhelmed, there's a chance to relax, and if you swim, there's plenty of space to gather your gear. So this is Eddy Turn. It's a big boulder garden. There's a lot of different ways to go. There's a very easy line along the left that's just kind of like down, but most of us take 4 different lines. There's a lot of different options in here, a lot of little drops. Oh, and we're gonna go do one of those. The reason it's called Eddy Turn is because there's a million little eddies in it. So you can kind of go eddy to eddy. Or you wash out, you just go with it. Nice and easy. See, no bad lines down Eddy Turn. A couple of easy holes to punch if you want to punch them. If you don't, just go around them. That's Eddy Turn. I don't remember the name of this one off the top of my head, but it's really easy. You can just kind of go straight down. There's a couple drops. There's no real hole. You just kind of like point yourself down the middle and go. Or as some people like to say, hey diddle diddle, right down the middle. Okay, so I want to go a little to the left of this rooster tail. And I can see up ahead, but I want to be a little toward the right, but not so far right that I'm in the eddy line. So I'm in the eddy line now. I want to get a little, I want to be left of that rock, be left of this hole, right of that hole. This looks scarier than it is. So I kind of ended up in a little hole there, but it was no big deal. Even in my little squirty boat, I punched it no problem. So this is called Railroad. This is the last rapid on the loop. So this rapid, if you're not feeling it, you can take out here and end the run early. I don't usually recommend that because the stuff that's after this is not that much harder than Cucumber. So now the main line where the rafts go has some kind of not huge holes, but like noticeable holes. So we like to do this move we call the Frog's Back. And now there's all these different lines. There's all these ways you can go here. Frog's Back is kind of a subtle slot move between these 2 big rocks. So we're going to line up and point toward the right and then paddle hard as we get to it. And go. And then just keep going straight from here. You can eddy out or you can keep going. I'm going to keep going right now. Kind of do some S-turns. Now there's a couple different options from here. We're going to go as hard left as we can right here, because this is the nice and easy line. Very easy, little tiny hole, nothing of consequence. Okay, but every other line goes there too. Some of them have bigger holes. This is where if you wanted to get out, take out at the loop, you could do a take out at the loop. Some kind of doldrums here. There's some very small rapids underneath the bridge. There's a lot of kind of small rapids between here and the next rapids I'm going to narrate for you. They're all optional. You can just kind of stay on the flat water, and the river is very wide at this point. So there's nothing else you need to know until we get to, I think, 7 eddies. Okay, so this is 7 eddies. I think I narrated this one before. Didn't necessarily have the best possible line, but again, can't overemphasize. This is one of those rapids where you don't need a good line. Any line will do. There's plenty of eddies. So you could eddy out here, you could eddy out there. Now, there's this big rock in the middle. You do want to be to the right of this big rock in the middle, and you want to look at it as you're coming up to it and see where you're going to cross, because there could be a hole. So it looks like we're going to go a little to the right where Justine is, go right to the left of this top hole, right to the right of this bottom hole. Now down here, we can just punch it. So just boom. Boom. No, we could have gone to the right of that, but it was more fun to punch it. On a rainy day like this, the fog can be kind of beautiful. Now we're kind of approaching the lead end to Dimple, but we'll still see a sign that warns us when we really get there. There's a lot of subtle little slot moves on the river. Okay, so there's the sign that says that Dimple is ahead. And there's plenty of room on River Right that if you don't want to run Dimple, you can take out and portage it. I'm not going to show you that move, but I'm going to give you the option. So in heavy fog like this, it's hard to see, but if there wasn't fog, you'd be able to see that over toward the right, there's a beach where you can get out and portage. Kind of a lot of flat water between where we saw that sign, which is back behind that big rock, in the portage spot. You can see the sign. See, there's a nice beach, nice and easy. And then up ahead we can see Dimple Rock. So we're going to take this eddy real quick, scout it, and then run it. Actually looks like Justine's just going to go for it. Nope, we're going to catch the eddy. I'm just going to go for it. So if you're coming out of the eddy, you're going to be crossing over to the right to get to where I am. Now again, there is kind of a sneak line off to the right of that right rock, but I'm not going to do it right now. So again, we want to charge to the right as we're getting closer to the rock to get into this eddy. That was it. That was the hard part. The rest of it's just kind of bump and grind. Again, this takes us right into swimmers. There are a couple of good eddies in here, but I'm not going to catch one. There's kind of a more significant hole to the right over here, so I'll get a little left of it. Get a little left again. Want to avoid that hole too. Now if you want to avoid swimmers, stay to the right up here. Kind of a harsh eddy line right here, but this is a spot you can eddy out above swimmers. Sometimes if there's a lot of people surfing, it's a good move to take this eddy for a while. Nice and easy to avoid swimmers. You want to get over to the left because this is where everyone takes out. You want to get out? You want to get out for a minute? Yeah, let's just take a break. Always a great place for a breather. Okay, so today we're going to take a different line through Bottle of Wine. Yesterday I showed you the standard line, which is right, and involves going right through a wave train on the right hand side, which is actually pretty easy. The left line is a little more intricate but involves fewer big waves. So we're gonna go the left line. Now this big rock on the right kind of marks the start of the rapid, even though the rapid doesn't really start for like another 150 feet after it. We can see some froth ahead of us, and we're actually gonna go to the left. Now that drop we took to the right is against that last big rock on the right, the leftmost of the big pile of rocks. So again, we're just gonna kind of read and run. We're gonna go a little to the left of this first hole, then to the right of the second hole. Now, this big rock that water is piling up on is a boof rock. You can go to the right of that and just boof over it. But we're gonna go to the left of it, which looks kind of scary, but it's actually a really easy line. Okay, and then after this rock, we have to cut right. So go right hard, right. Catch this eddy, trying to push through it. And now you see, that looked big and scary, but there really wasn't anything at all to it. Now we're through it. Now we're in the run out, which is just moving water. So this is the little rock garden rapid that I like to call not double hydraulic, because it's not a named rapid, and it's before double hydraulic. And a lot of times I would get confused when I'm coming up to it and be like, oh, is this double hydraulic? Which is an easy point of confusion because, you know, the next named rapid is double hydraulic. And this looks like a rapid, but it's not named. So this is another one kind of like eddy turn, where there's a lot of rocks and there's a lot of different options for how to go through it. And we're gonna show you one that's nice and easy. There's a left line that's actually pretty challenging. We call decapitation rock, which is a scary undercut. There's a right line that's really easy that I showed you yesterday. We're just gonna zigzag between rocks, take a nice Bob Ross kind of line. Nice and easy. Steer, steer. Okay, so that rock in the middle, that big rock right there, is decapitation rock. And if you look at it from upstream, it's a big undercut. And we're gonna do a little slot move right here. Nice and easy. Then we're gonna look up. We're gonna come over here. We're gonna look up at decapitation rock. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a rock that's kind of undercut. Right, let's see if I can point to it. Right there, between those two rocks, and it's an undercut, where you see the foam coming below the rock. That's a spot where you want to make sure you make the right move. Okay, so we're coming into double hydraulic. There is a large eddy that we can catch on the left. I'm going to leave it up to Justine whether we do. We're coming in a little further left than we were yesterday. So our goal is just going to be to stay right of the double hydraulics. And let's see what Justine does to determine what we do. Now, if you look toward the jumble of rocks, that's the heart of the rapid. You can see the crest of the first hydraulic from here. We're going to take this eddy. Hi, Justine. What?
Easy ferry line?
Easy ferry line. So Justine's going to show us now, if we were to go left, we'd go into the heart of the rapid. So we're going to ferry kind of right. And again, the line we did yesterday where we just stayed to the right the whole time, that line is still available if you want it. This line is a little more effort. Okay, so we're going to want to, once we're in the current, we're going to want to point upstream very hard. We want to stay to the right of these rapids. Now we're through it. Now we just stay in the current, paddle downstream. That was it. That was double hydraulic. Again, River's Edge. So again, the line here is you want to hug the big rock and catch the eddy behind it. And the subtlety is there's a little bit of a hole to the right of the rock. So you kind of want to dodge the hole and then cut as far right cut left as far as you can. There are a couple of different lines available here. So if you find yourself offline, just paddle forward hard and lean forward and you'll be fine. There's a lot of easy ways to get through this, as you saw yesterday. If you get backwards, just stay upright and you'll eventually surf out. But we're gonna go for the left eddy and let's see if we catch it today. And if we don't, I apologize. I'll get somebody else's video of it. So River's End Rapid. Let's watch Justine. And if I get it wrong, look at what Justine does to see how to get it right. Okay, so she stays a little to the right of the hole and then cuts right across into the eddy. So we're gonna do the same thing. Stay a little right of the hole. And we're gonna go left hard. Hard. Not quite hard enough, but still we're able to catch the second eddy. Then we peel right out. Want to get to the right of this rock. Okay, now we're home free. There's a couple more waves. We can dodge them easily by getting to the right. I want to go to the right of that big rock. Not necessary, but I'm going to do it because it's a very conservative line. Look, we're in an eddy here, so the water's going slower. We can very easily move right. Okay, now we're home free. We're past the rock. Now, if you do go left, as you can see, there's really nothing to it, but it's even easier on the right. Okay, this is Schoolhouse Rock again. I'm gonna just take it nice and easy. I showed you nice and easy down the right yesterday. Today I'm gonna show you nice and easy down to the left. Now this is practically an eddy. So I'm just gonna kind of go left of this big wave here. And I'm practically in an eddy. And I'm just gonna kind of stay left. And I'm gonna show you something that I'm not gonna do. There's an interesting slot move right here. You can turn upstream, you can run that slot between those two rocks, but I'm not going to do it right now. And now we've got a giant eddy behind these rocks, so we can just paddle out to the eddy, and we're golden. Here we are, back in the easy part of the river. So this is technically still part of Schoolhouse Rock. This is one of the very rare rapids that is harder than it looks. Now, it doesn't look like anything much. There's one kind of frothy hole, but the frothy hole is not the challenge. The challenge is the eddy line behind this rock. So I'm gonna go a little right of this frothy hole, but it's still gonna take me right into this eddy line. This eddy line is a squirt spot. So if you want to do a stern squirt in a squirty boat, it's easy for that, but if you're not, it's kind of unstable. This is not really anything. It's kind of like one of the last little rapids. Again, there's only one kind of big rapid left, which we're gonna run a sneak line of. But I'm gonna look for a sneak line here now. Okay, so right here, the proper sneak would be all the way right, but we're gonna go all the way left and just see what happens. Straight down the middle. Okay, nothing happened. So we didn't need a sneak there. Now up ahead, there's a couple ledge drops. I'm gonna go left and see what happens. I've never gone left before. So we're gonna see what happens going left. A little to the right of where we are, there's a boof line. There's a couple different boofs. Boofs are fun when you get into it, but you wanna be stable first. You wanna be confident before you start going on boof lines. So we're gonna go kind of around that to the left. And as you can see, it looks like there's a little bit of a hole to the right. So we're gonna go a little to the left, and we're gonna cut hard right. Okay, now we're gonna cut to the right, catch this subtle eddy. A little bit of an eddy helps us turn. And now we're good, we're home free. So this is kind of an area where there's nothing of interest happening. The left line is super boring, so you're just gonna kind of stay generally toward the right and see what happens. Okay, so again, this is maze, and there's really nothing to it. I'm going to take you through a little bit of a slot line to show you the alternatives. But yeah, we're going to go through the big rocks. We're going to go through a couple big rocks. Easy slots. I kind of bump and grind a little bit through these because you can bump into the rocks, but it's harmless to bump into the rocks. Let's take this first slot move to the left. And then we're going to cut a little right and take the next slot move. So as you're taking these slot moves, these eddy lines are going to try to turn you. Ooh, look at that one. That one looks fun. But this one looks nice and wide. This one looks wide enough that you can easily get your paddle in both sides. Okay, so we're going to take this slot move. Good. And now we kind of let the current carry us forward. We're going to ferry across this current. We're going to ferry across. Now we're going to turn real quick. Take this way. That was nice and easy slot moves. Now we're going to go through the main line. We're going to go kind of from right to left. Look, that big rock that looks kind of undercut, we're going to come nowhere near it. Justine's kind of going a little further left. We're going to go ever so slightly further right than she is. So we're going to go kind of right through this big foam pile. Boom. And we're going to cut forward, paddle a little bit, but you're good. Golden. And then right through the wave train. Okay, so these three big boulders and the train car we just passed. I don't know if you can still see the train car. Can't see it in the fog. It's there, but you can't recognize it. So these three boulders represent the run-in to Bruner's Run Rapid. Bruner's Run Rapid is the very last rapid. It is at the takeout. And there's a tire on the tree. People suck. So we're going to go past these boulders. Now yesterday, I showed you the line that I like to do. Today I'm going to show you an easy line. Justine might be going right to that boulder. I'm going to see what Justine is up to. Let's see what this line is like. I haven't done an easy line here in a while. Looks like she's just going around behind this boulder, which is nice and easy. Bob Ross talking points. Nice and easy. I can't tell whether that's a viable slot move because there's kind of a... Looks like there might be kind of a fuck you rock there. Let's try it anyway. Okay, there was a rock there, but it wasn't that bad. So now we're going to stay to the right of the gnar. So this is very easy. You just look for where the gnar is, and you go not there. So you can see, Justine, you can get that far to the left and still be to the right of all the gnar. Now, if you go too far right, it gets really shallow, so you wash up into rocks. Okay. So now from this point, so you see I just hit some rocks. Hitting rocks, but you want to stay kind of toward the right. And you can see, this is the big holes that I went through yesterday. We're nicely dodging them. And I can see why you wouldn't want to go through those. They're a little scary, but this way is nice and easy. Just a couple big waves, nice and easy. Notice I'm barely paddling. Okay, and we want to eddy out on the left as soon as we can. So that's the Lower Yough, 2 days, 2 people, 0 rolls, 0 swims. So it's a nice and easy river once you have a clue what you're doing. Now we're coming to the takeout. And one thing that sucks about this river is there is a hilly hike at the takeout. This is the case with a lot of rivers. You're going to learn to deal with it. Just get out of your boat and go up.